All right. Show you what I did. This thing's about to get out of power. The last video where I had the jets, typically what I do, there was a whole bunch of them flew over me today. I'll try to upload this tonight. It's the same stuff. I've been trying to catch the one that has the red, white, blue flag under the fuselage and the wings. I haven't seen him in a while. Now he's there again, really low. I just haven't been ready. But it's a neat shot. But I put videos up because I work over by the airport. And we got the 144th Air Wing, National Guard, Air National Guard, something like that. And so we get a lot of these jets flying around. And typically what I'll do is I put up one of my obscure, retarded titles on it. Never do I put jets in the air or, F this or whatever the thing is. Never do I put anything pointing to that being a jets in flight kind of thing. But I will usually put a jet of some kind, probably something I Googled in the picture of the window. You know what I mean. Anyhow, those get a lot of views. But nowhere in the title does it mention anything about aircraft, military aircraft, other than the image, And I don't say anything in those videos. It's just planes, jets flying. But they typically get a lot of views. I'm wondering how, is it off the image of the what do you call it? I can't think of it. But I thought they were strange. So I put that one up, and I put the thing about intelligent oatmeal, because it has nothing to do with the content of the video, just to see if it was, okay, we're sure it's not the title. And I'll see if it gets any, because I get like 20, 30 views. That's all I get, which is fine. But those that get, I get up to 1,000 views. I go back in my past history, those get thousands of views. It never says anything about aircraft in the title or the description. So I just don't know how they find it, other than maybe the image, which is not always indicative of the content of jets flying or landing. All my stuff is guys are landing. Rarely do we're on the landing side of this thing. They're typically, unless the weather changes, then they'll come out this way. But anyhow, I'm just curious. That's an experimental video. I have been reloading 223, not 5.56, 223. I have some 5.56. I have a black rifle. But the reason I ever talk about my black rifle is there's nothing wrong with it. I talk about the stuff I used to have a problem with. Anyhow, I have a single shot. Let me give it. Did I put that? I've already put it up. I've got a single shot rifle. It's a 223 over 20 gauge. It's a Savage, I believe. It's not very old. It's a newer. It's probably inside of 10 years old. It's been built. It's quality as far as that goes. I don't believe it's ever been shot. And I have my, I've always wanted to shoot it. So I'll run some 223. I'll load some rounds through that and make that my launch platform and see if we can have some fun with the ammo with that. Past few months, I take that back. The past year and a half, I've had coyote trouble. And it seems like it's a seasonal thing, not annually, but every so many years, I get a lot of coyote trouble. And although now I'm better at locking everything up, all the chickens, the ducks, the sheep, everyone's locked up at night. They've killed a couple of my dogs. They killed one of my dogs a couple years back, but they've done that since. They killed several of my cats, which really pissed me off. And then they killed all my neighbors' stuff, killed their dogs, cats, this and that. It's been going on for, like I said, over a year. And so I've just been busy. And before I would have been real gung-ho. But yeah, I finally got my best 22 is a single shot, once again, Savage over a 410, 22 over 410. It's older. I did a video on it. But it's the longest barrel I've gotten 22. And that thing is a tack driver. It's a flat shooter. But you can only get to about 80 yards on that thing where it just loses all effectiveness. A 22 drops like a rock up to a certain point, depending on what you're using. My Ruger 1022 is worse, shorter barrel, and I'm so much better with a single shot. It's far more accurate. I've had miserable luck with my Ruger. Anyhow, I said, I've got to come up, I've got all these rifles. I need to come up with a 150 yard or less rifle, something I can, because what happens now, before I used to call the coyotes in, I could get them in 25, 30 yards, just pop with a 38. These guys are smarter than that. Those guys are all gone. So I can't, I have calls, all this kind of stuff, and they'll get curious and they'll come in, what's this going on, but they won't get inside of 125, 130 yards. Especially this one particular one I'm dealing with now. And I see him out there every day. Comes in every night, gets my dog's howling at 4 o'clock in the morning. I got to get up. The only way the dog shuts up, I got to take her off the chain. She'll go chase him off, come back, put on chain, I go to bed. I can't sleep. I don't get any sleep anymore. So I have plenty of reasons to end this life of this things. So I had some options. I have a 357 lever action that I could full with. I have a whole lot of ammo for that. Can't do much with the 22. Had a couple other options. I said, let's get that 223 out and see if we can go shoot it for it. I never shot it before. Took it out. My typical loads, 23 grains is what I would use for my black rifle IMR 4320. I show it to you, but the phone's leaning up against it. Great powder, hot, snappy, good stuff. I just seen some Varget in town that's no one's picked up. The price is down. We'll go get that. Anyhow, in 223, you could do coyotes all day. But my concern with the 223 is at the speed these things travel and the distances they travel, I have to worry about where a missed shot goes. That's why I like the 22, as it's hard to get it off the property. And I'm really, not because I'm a great neighbor, I just don't want any trouble. So I really, it's a big consideration for me. I'm going to go out there with some big howitzer and have this thing go 5 places over and cause some trouble. And even then, I only have a window, a kill zone. It's about 40 yards wide and about 300 yards long. I don't shoot outside of that. It's because then it gets into some civilization. I can't have that. So I needed a 150-yard round, 140-yard round. So I took the 223 out at the 23 grains. Boom, boom, boom. It gets a lot of power. People can say all they want about, it's just a 22. These are screamers, man. And it's different shooting it out of a semi-automatic. There's other things going on there, but not with a single shot. It's full effect. Anyhow, way too fast, way too much velocity for what I'm trying to do. I said, well, what if I just detune these a little bit? What if I pulled the power back? I'm at 23 grains, which is a medium load. How much discounting can we do there? So I went from 23 to 18. Now, when you're using a semi-automatic rifle, you got to worry about this thing cycling and, ejecting the round, picking up the next one out of the magazine and reloading it. Single shot, that's not an issue. You still want it to be effective, but the only issue with a single shot is you want to make sure it clears the barrel. Okay, that would be an issue. I didn't go that low, but I got down to 14 grains, from 23 to 14. Now, I do not have a chronograph. I can't tell you what the speed difference was. I'm sure it was it sounded lighter, and there was a little less tap to it whether you pulled the trigger. Really no recoil at all with the 223. I wouldn't want to get hit with one. But I got this thing down to like 143, 145 yards where I'm at, and it just starts to drop a little bit. Like a would be a good example. If you're aiming at a beer can, you better aim at the top of it, hit the bottom. At 140, I said 45 yards. I'm like, well, I can coyote that all day. Clears the barrel, of course, and hits plenty hard at the other end, So I'm anxious to see. I think that's my number. 5 grains of this IMR powder, and plenty of snap. Still, I wanted to push it out as far as I could until I see it start dropping. But you could probably still go You could probably get down to 10 grains or less or something. I think, but then to me, it seemed like it's a 55 grain round. I think you start to see something at that point. But yeah, I think I accomplished my goal is creating a coyote, not a coyote gun, but a coyote caliber, a coyote round for my particular situation here. And that's the advantage of loading your own. Hey, I'm going to dial this thing back. Now, what I have to do is only need to make 5 or 6 of these and set them aside from all your other stuff to know that these are light loads. Label them, mark them, do whatever you got to do, because you wouldn't want these to end up in your other stuff, because I don't think that would be very, that would work very well. But anyhow, anti-coyote. But I always have the first blood operation. As far as I leave them alone unless something happens. Well, we've had plenty happen, so it's long-awaited overdue. We need to pull some justice. Anyhow, love you. God bless. We'll see how those jet videos do.